Okay, we are going to have revenue. We are done with the concept of cost. Not done completely though. We have highlighted some significant issues about cost. We are going to get to revenue now. Then much later we will combine cost and revenue together to see if a firm will be making profit or loss. So under imperfect competition, the prices charged reduce as more is being sold or bought. You have 100 francs when one is bought, and then maybe 90, 80, 70, and 60. That shows that prices drop as output board increases. So our total revenue here, remember we said total revenue is price times output. 1 times 100, 100, this times this, 180. And then we have 160 times this, 240. We have this 14, 280. We have this times this is 300. Okay, so you see that the total revenue is not increasing at a constant rate. The total revenue is not increasing at a constant rate. If you want to plot, it will give you something like this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The highest value is 300. Let's say 50, and 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. We have revenue, we have output. Okay. When output is 1, total revenue is 100. So we have 1 to 100. When output is 2, total revenue is 180. So we have 180 somewhere here. When output is 3, total revenue is 240. 240 somewhere here. When output is 4, total revenue is 280. 280 somewhere here. And then when output is 5, total revenue is 300. We have 300 somewhere here. So you see that the total revenue curve of this firm is not a diagonal straight line. It curves. It increases, and then at a point it begins to increase at a decreasing rate. So this is the structure of total revenue in an imperfect market situation. So we also have average revenue. And average revenue is the income that a firm generates on each unit of output. The income that you get when you sell a single unit or individual unit of output. And average revenue is simply calculated by, we will be abbreviating it as AR. It is calculated by total revenue divided by output. Average revenue is drawn, the average revenue graph is drawn differently when we are operating under perfect competition. But when we are under imperfect competition, average revenue is drawn differently. But mind you that average revenue is the same as price. Why do we say that average revenue is the same as price? It is simple. Let me prove it to you quickly. Average revenue is the same as price because average revenue is total revenue times total revenue divided by output. And we already saw that total revenue is price times quantity, which means that if I say average revenue is price times quantity divided by quantity, I have simply written this formula in another way, because we know that this price times quantity stands for what? TR, total revenue. Good. So it means therefore that AR is equal to P times Q all over Q. So Q takes care of Q. If Q cancels Q, what are we left with? We are left with AR being equal to P. So from now henceforth, when I mention price, know that it is the same as average revenue. Or when I mention average revenue, know that it is the same as price. In all market situations, be it perfect competition or imperfect competition. Then, graphically speaking, average revenue under perfect competition is illustrated like this. It is a horizontal straight line. The average revenue of a firm under perfect competition is a horizontal straight line. That is just to say that it is constant. Under perfect competition, average revenue doesn't change as output is changing. Why do we say that average revenue is constant? Because the price of firms under perfect competition does not also change as output is changing. Prices remain constant. We have a typical situation, or the table of a typical firm, where we have output changing from 1 to 5 units, and then price is constant at 100. A little secret: whenever you see price or average revenue constant at all output levels, simple, it is a perfect competitive market structure. Okay? If it were an imperfect situation, you would have seen price or average revenue changing as output is changing. So how do we get average revenue here? We got total revenue by multiplying this with this. We have 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. So our average revenue, as we said, is total revenue divided by output. So we get total revenue of 100 divided by output of 1. It gives us 100. 200 divided by 2, 100. 300 by 3, and that gives us 100 all through. So you can see clearly that we have the same average revenue as price. Reason why: you will always see in all curves, you will always see A and B equal to P, and the average revenue curve of every firm is that firm's demand curve. So you will see A and B equal to P, B equal to DT. Now let us say that we were to plot this diagram. We have 50, 100, 150, 200, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When output is 1, average revenue. When output is 1, average revenue is 100. 1 to 100. That is it. When output is 2, average revenue is 100 still. 3, 100. 4, 100. 5, 100. Then we link it with a straight line. That is the average revenue curve. So this shows the situation of a firm under perfect competition. And the next concept, which is marginal revenue, let me just explain straight up so that I show you that under perfect competition, average revenue is the same as marginal revenue, the same as price. So that when you see AR being equal to MR being equal to P, you don't get confused. So what is marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is simply that extra income that a firm generates when it sells one additional unit of output. The extra revenue generated by a firm as a result of the sales or the production of one extra unit of output. And marginal revenue is calculated by, we have MR being equal to change in total revenue all over change in output. So our change in total revenue here simply means we take our present total revenue and subtract the previous one from there. And then we divide by change in output, which is present output minus previous output. Same thing we did under marginal cost. So we have marginal revenue, change in total revenue, all over change in output. So we take 100 minus nothing before 100. 100 minus 0 is 100. 1 minus 0 is 1. So 100 divided by 1 gives us 100. 200 minus 100, it gives us 100. Divided by 2 minus 1 is 1. 100 divided by 1 is 100. So we do the same. 300 minus this, 100 divided by this, 1. So you see that marginal revenue is the same as average revenue, the same as price. So that is the reason why under a perfect competitive market structure, you will see this analysis. They will tell you that AR is equal to P equal to DT equal to MR. It is because of this analysis we have done here. But mind you, this happens only if we are under perfect competition. If we are under imperfect competition, average revenue will not be constant because prices will be changing. Marginal revenue as well will not be constant because the prices will be changing as more is being bought or sold. Okay, Now, let me just take a summary of the graphs or diagrams that we have other revenue here for perfect competition and imperfect competition so that it sticks better. You can just copy this down. For total revenue, under perfect competition, this is how your total revenue curve looks like. It is a diagonal straight line. Remember, total revenue must always begin from 0 because when output is 0, total revenue must be 0. And then under imperfect competition, we do not have a diagonal straight line. We have our total revenue having that curvature because prices are not constant. Prices vary as more is being sold. And then we have the second, which is average revenue. Average revenue. This is how your average revenue curve looks like under perfect competition. Average revenue. And then under imperfect competition, your average revenue curve is downward sloping like the demand curve. Slopes downward like the demand curve. Why? Because as more is being bought or sold, prices drop. And then we have the third one, marginal revenue. For marginal revenue under perfect competition, the diagram is the same as that of the curve, is the same as that of average revenue. So we have MR, and then finally for marginal revenue under imperfect competition, marginal revenue exists in three forms. Marginal revenue can be positive, it can be negative, it can be zero. So we have marginal revenue under imperfect competition like that. It is positive and downward sloping from here to there. It is zero when it touches the output axis and it turns negative. So that is a summary of how the revenue concept looks like depending on the market structure under which we are operating.